Good afternoon, all my beautiful Astralites. It is a beautiful afternoon once more. I apologize if I'm wearing the hat this time. It is brighter than Austin Powers' teeth out here. So, I'm just trying to keep the sunlight out of my eyes. I don't want to keep squinting, like doing all that. I know you guys don't want to sit through the next 20 plus minutes for that. But anyway, let's get started. So, the reason I am doing this video, as you can tell from the title, because the reason I came up with this was because my sister had put a post on her Facebook page saying how gas prices not too long ago were $4 or less, and now they're $5 and rising. That's when I posted. Excuse me. That's when I posted under her comment section by saying hashtag corporate greed. So that is why I am putting. Oh, hi, Lovey. That is why I am putting this video out, proclaimed as "Corporate Greed Continues Growing," which I think is a fair title because it is growing. And if you think about it, because I've learned this back when I was getting my insurance license, is that when you work for a company, they don't hire you for you. You're with me so far? They hire you for the work that you put in. And it sickens me to see this younger generation. Dusty. It sickens me to see this other generation apply to these jobs, and then once they're hired, they don't put in half the work the blue collar types like myself does. Because that's what companies hire. They hire you based on, even if you do a little bit of work, they don't hire you for you as the person. They hire you for what you can do at work. Even on dead days, you see it all the time. And like, I know you guys know people at your work. You're just like, you can find something to do even if it's this slow, right? Rather than just play on your phone all day and just die of boredom. And then they give you some lame ass excuse about it. I know you guys can agree with me when I'm telling you this. These are the same corporations that put our tax dollars to bad use. Our hard-earned money sent to FICA, wherever else it goes to, we see them come to fruition. Unfortunately, they're building stadiums that supposedly hire more workers. They open up these retail stores that don't even, a good majority of them don't even have like a, what do you call it? Conscious consuming. Money that goes to the arts like Hot Topic does, feeding kids around the world like Box Lunch. You see where I'm going with this? I thought you might. So that's why I'm making this video for you guys. That is why I wanted to take some time out before I had to go to work, which is in the next hour and a half, unfortunately, because once more, I'm treated unfairly at work. Even if it's even if it's a dead day, I'm still gonna get spit work somehow. But it all depends. It also all depends on who's running the shift. That would be another way to look at it. You know, the manager I mentioned in my last video, who I said I was cool with, she was there yesterday, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think she had a sense because she was sending me to the front to take care of the lines. I think she was vibing that I was getting stressed out, and it was also a little in my tone because I thought I had some help for a minute, but then they had to go do something else apparently. And she comes in, she's asking me, "All all right, honey, what can I do for you? How can I help do this, do that?" I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna need as much help as I. This is how I said it. I'm gonna need as much help as I can get because I had some help, and so on and so forth, things like that. And she was like, "Hey, don't worry, I got you." And after we got a couple orders out, there were still orders coming in. She was like, "Would you be a dear and just go to the?" Yeah, she does care. She really does. And she was sending me to the front. She said that I need you to go to the front for me and take care of the line. I'm like, yeah, okay, I can do that. So she was in the kitchen for a bit. We were sort of rounding off, taking turns and things like that. I'd say she's one of my favorite managers because she's somebody I can relate to in a work setting. Like she knows the concept of the job. You know what I mean? She knows what to do, what not to do, and things like that. So she's on my good list. She's on my good side. And I know a couple of you guys have a couple managers like that, and trust me, it majorly sucks when they're not on the same shift as you because you got to deal with the bosses that stress you out the most. I feel for you. I understand it. I live that life every single day. Yeah, she's the real deal. She's really chill. Like these other managers, you know. Okay, so there's one other manager that's on my good side. I was working with him yesterday, and he's chill. I've known him since the very first time I began working at the theater a couple years back before the lockdown happened. He's always on my good side anyway. So he was working with us, and it's just it's things are getting ridiculous. It's like the people who put in the most work also get the most guff. That is unfair. And don't come at me with that whole life isn't fair. I'm also gonna discuss that in another video because we need to talk about that. I'm so sick of hearing people say that. But anyway, I digress. Things are getting ridiculous. Um, one of the other YouTubers, Juliana and I are associated with. He's been mentioning that a recession is happening, and I've been talking about how. Well, I'm not sure if I've mentioned this in one of my videos or not, but I have been um, getting fewer hours, and that's one of the reasons why we were actually talking about it at work, and management was telling me as so um, the higher ups, not necessarily the managers, the powers that be. Uh, he was telling me that they're planning to cut hours short, which was why I was actually noticing it in my schedule. So at that point, you just have to be like, you know what, just give me all the hours you can give me. I will I'll make things happen and this and that. And I like to think that this is a sign, to be honest, because I told you guys that I was taking yoga instructing classes, and you know, you get to hang out, you get to teach classes, you get to help them heal their bodies, get a good stretch in, things like that. Because I also learned this in my college course. Yoga is not just stretching and, you know, learning how to breathe. It is simply a way of living. That's what I learned from my college courses. It is a way of living, and that is the type of work that I believe that's my calling. That is one of my callings right there. To help people be more at ease. Sensational vibes is what I like to call it. And I know you guys are all already aware of that, but I figure I should mention it once more. I'm very spiritual. I I enjoy protecting the planet. I like using reusable straws rather than the paper ones that are. I think biodegradable is the word. I'm not 100% just the ones that go to waste, basically. I don't like using the straws that McDonald's gives me or anything like that. Just generic straws for your beverages. I don't use those, and that's why I like to go to In and Out because that's another place actually. See, In and Out. The thing I like about it is it's not part of corporate America issue because they are helping people in need. They are helping addicts become sober. They are. I I actually don't remember, but they are doing something. Um, they're doing something that's helpful. That was just the last thing that Oh no, wait. Actually, I think I remember. I think the addict recovery is the recent one. The one before that was human trafficking. That's the that was the charity that they were doing before. Now I believe it's addict recovery. And corporate America, they're just creating more addicts. If you think about it, because they are playing monopoly on people's lives. Because you know, back in the day, you would absolutely they are both important causes. You know, back in the day where you would get a paycheck every single week, you would build up to make sure that your life kept going and you could retire or you could invest in something more meaningful. As soon as the 21st century hit, that went bye bye. Mostly in the early 2010s, I'd say. We started getting paid bi-weekly, and things just went to spit from there. You know, our jobs. Here's another thing that back when I was doing what do you call it? I was doing campaign work. I was getting signatures and things like that. One of those were for the minimum wage, right? And I believe it was a lady that came up to me, or came up to us because I had a partner back then. Uh, she came up to us. We were explaining the minimum wage form to her, and she said something that really resonated. She said, "What is the point of getting? What is the point of raising minimum wage if they're just going? Because if they, okay, I'm getting tongue tied. So shortly, she said." raising minimum wage means that they're going to double their increase on products. And I was like, you know what? In a way, that actually makes sense because our paychecks resonate with the prices of corporate America. Let's say Google Pixel 7 Pro just came out. I'm excited for that. I could use a new phone. The one I got with me is a piece of garbage. So they have the Pro and they have the original, excuse me, and they have the Pro. So the original, for instance, I believe is 700, which is not bad for a new phone. And I make close to 1,400 a month. And that means I would have to use half of my paycheck, approximately half of my paycheck, just to get a decent Google Pixel 7. Does Are you guys with me so far? Does that make sense? Yeah, that's what I figured. Because that's actually why I was so passionate when I did the Spare the Air video, because that saved money on gas, and I don't drive. I would really, I'm going to eventually, I just want to build up enough money to buy a car after I get my license and things like that. So, I took the bus for free. It was a lot of fun. I got to where I needed to go. And I wanted to take the last bus ride to see Juliana, but I had to work the next day, unfortunately. Sad for me. But I was able to see her the day after, I believe. Spent a little bit of the weekend with her. We had some fun. But so far, you guys are getting my point. The higher these prices go for gas or merchandise, clothes, etc., the worse things are going to get. We really have to prioritize how we use our funds. Like I said, I used 600 to pay for a 4-week class. Inflation. Thank you, Lovey. Yeah, inflation. I don't. I'm not sure if I don't think recession is the same as inflation or if they're synonyms. But anyway, that was actually the word I was looking for. Inflation is becoming a problem, and we have to use our funds better. If you drive a gas guzzler, switch to electric. It's the late 21st century. It's the late 2010s, whatever you want to call it. We are getting closer and closer. We have the technology. And some of you guys are probably going, oh, it's easy for you to say this and that. You guys know you can recycle your old cars, right? If you have gas guzzlers and you no longer drive it, or you rarely drive it, you can get a decent amount for it, or at least enough for the startup. Stop giving yourself excuses to make a better difference. There is no point of doing that. Really think about that. Like, it took me a long time to even collect this kind of money because I start this Friday. And that means I have to shell out a little bit more for the bus on the weekends. But you know what? It's for 4 weeks. 3.5, 4 hours every weekend. It's gonna go by quick, and I'm excited. I'm gonna have my journal with me. I'm gonna learn a lot. I actually did go to class a long time ago, but I couldn't keep up with the payments, unfortunately. So I just ended up going to one or two classes. Oh, I already love it. And it was amazing too because since I'm already an employee there, I'm a studio experience team member, or set for short. Uh, I was able to get half off, and I still had enough money to build up on. And next Thursday, I'm gonna have even more money to build up on. And of course, that means skimping out on a bit of the rent. But you know what? In these dark times, you need to do what you need to do in order to secure a better future. Because the most my manager can give me is a 3 days of notice or quit, whatever. It's like I quit you guys a long time ago. You get what I take. You take what I give you, basically. That's why I'm a boss. I know how to handle my finances. I know how to keep my affairs in order. That's why I have a boss shirt. I don't wear that just for show, even though it's one of my better looking t-shirts. It's like you guys are not going to manipulate me into giving you what you want. That's not how I operate. The same with work. They manipulated me yesterday, or to do the shift for yesterday. And I was telling Juliana, you know what? I'm fine. I'm actually gonna listen to you on this one next time. Well, I told you guys this the the day before, I believe. I'm gonna start saying no. I'm gonna start doing what I need to do because no one is going to put strings on this puppet. I'm basically Pinocchio. I do what I want with no strings attached to me. Yeah, our manager. That's another thing. Not just corporations you work for, but the buildings you live in. That's another problem. They're charging you to live in a place where they don't even keep up to code, and you're just like, yeah, you're joking, right? I have to pay this much because you guys are so lethargic, so beyond lazy. You can't keep my apartment, my little house up to code. Are you serious? No. That's why I'm like, when I have the money, because I started doing this last month, I was doing half one week and half the other week. That's how I've been getting by. Don't let your, like I said, don't let your managers bully you or manipulate you into nickel and diming you, shelling out every little penny that you have. Don't let them do that. This day and age might suck, but we still have rights. Of course, it is illegal. All we have are slumlords these days. And for those of you thinking otherwise, don't be so naive. Don't fall for that whole nice shtick. Being nice is part of their job, and that's part of the problem. Oh, we lost one. That's okay though. But yeah, being nice is part of the problem. They're just like, oh, if you could do this, if you could do that. No, 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 no. You're not about to manipulate me. Stop being so patronizing. It's almost 2 o'clock. Um, got a little bit of I don't want to take up too much time because I gotta leave in almost an hour to go to work. But you know what? At least I'm ushering, and ushering's not bad, especially if it's on my own. I can sit if I feel the need to. I could clean up, do this, do that. We actually cleaned them up last night before I got home, so they shouldn't be too bad. But we'll see. One of our theaters actually had 76 people in it. We thought it was going to be atrocious, but it actually wasn't too bad. But we had to go back and vacuum it was the issue, like sweep up the crumbs and all. It's a whole thing. No, not really, but at the same time it is. But like I always say, take my words with a grain of salt because they are going to definitely help you in the end. Just because someone's in charge does not give them the right to run your life. And I know a couple of you womp rats are going, well, that's the precise definition of, shut up. I'm not even talking to you. You think just because, oh, good, yeah, Lovey, that's your food that I ordered for you. Remember I said I would send you something? Well, that's what it was. Oh, speaking of that, because she got a Amazon delivery, I want to take a moment to discuss Amazon, if you guys don't mind. Bezos has no idea how to run his company. Thank you, Lovey. Because here's the thing. When the lockdown happened, I had very little options to do work. And everybody was telling me Amazon was hiring right away. And unfortunately, at the time, I love you too. Unfortunately, at the time, I had very little options of work, and people kept suggesting Amazon. So I figured, okay, I'll give it a shot. Worst few months of my life. And the reason I say he doesn't know how to conduct his business is because he'll have one individual do a whole 12 plus hours, and he does this whole here's the thing. I really hate when businesses conduct these incentives. You know, oh, if you work for us, you get this benefits, you get that benefits. And that's another thing I'm going to get to as soon as I'm done talking about this for a second. The way I would have ran my business, if that was my business, I would have one individual work an 8-hour shift, get sent home, paid in all, paid in full, have the next group of people clockwork, 8-hour clockwork shift. You work first 8 hours, you clock out, you go home. Of course, you get a lunch, which honestly I think is ridiculous. You don't get paid to eat. I'm like, I get paid for putting in a hard day's work. Why don't I get paid to eat? Why don't I get paid to eat to continue doing hard day's work? See what I mean? You see how redundant that is? That's exactly my point. Corporate. That's why I don't like trucks over compensating vehicles. Anyway, that's how corporations operate. They give you these incentives to make it seem like it's too good to be true, which, by the way, it is. And I realize that you guys got families to think about. You guys got babies, this and that. I'm saying even with if you have families, you still have better options. You don't have to work yourself to the bone just to give your family a decent day's wage. You don't have to do that. This is why this is why we say when this is why grown-ups tell us when we're growing up, go to school and get an education. Otherwise, you're going to be miserable with jobs you don't want. That I can agree is factual. Could you imagine if I didn't go to ARC, I didn't get my linguistics degree? That would absolutely suck. I don't know what kind of menial work I would be doing, aside from the theater. But in a way, I'm putting my degree to good use because I got a major in linguistics. And one of the things you learn about yoga is, they use terms like Shavasana, uh, Chaturanga. I don't think I pronounced that right, but you see where I'm going with this. I'm actually putting my degree to good use. Don't fall for the perks and incentives because here's what's going to happen. Let's say you all of a sudden you feel miserable at work, and I've seen this on a TV episode too. I'm just like, you know what? I knew they did crap like this. Here's what they're going to do. They're going to be like, "Oh, we're so sorry to hear that you're." Yeah, I have a habit of doing that. But here's what they're gonna do. They're gonna sit down with you. They're gonna be like, "We're so sorry to hear that you're miserable. How can we do this and that to help?" And you'll just be like, "I'm afraid you can't. I'm just not happy here anymore. I just can't continue to do the job." And they're gonna play this card on you. You realize that if you resign, you relinquish your benefits, your dental, your this, your that. You ever had a boss who did that with you, and you made you feel so guilty that you ended up staying an extra couple weeks, a month plus? That's why I'm telling you, don't fall for that. I was watching that on a season premiere of Mike and Molly. That's where I got it from. I'm like, they actually really do this. Because here's like, you realize if you quit teaching, you relinquish all your benefits, your dental, your health, your whatever. I'd rather have nothing than I'd rather have nothing, absolutely nothing, but a peace of mind and a job that I can call home. That's what I'd rather have. So just watch out for when they play that whole perks and incentives card on you. Don't feel guilty for leaving. If you are miserable, leave. And that also goes with relationships, but I'm going to discuss that on another video. Or Juliana will probably be inspired to follow up on that part. If you're miserable, leave. Don't have the person make you feel guilty and then cause you to keep staying. In the 70s, okay, I'll go to the relationships for just a second, but I've watched this from Tyler Perry, and it's actually factual. We have it so easy when it comes to leaving relationships that are making us miserable. We can just leave. Back in the 70s or around that time area, women did not have that option. They weren't as independent as they are today. We have options. Our parents and our grandparents, they didn't. If they had a piece of crap that they called a spouse or even a fiance, boyfriend, whatever, especially if they had kids with them, they had no choice but to stay. Those were the kinds of people that didn't have any any true friends they could go to, any family members. It's the same with work. It's the same with these corporations. If you are miserable, feel free to leave. Just be like, I tried this job out for at least a week and I can't be happy here. Because most places will actually be professional. Oh, we got a third person back. Hi there. Excuse me. We have most of these places that'll be like, I'm sorry to hear that you're miserable. You know, you feel free to leave anytime that you like. This and that. But you got to watch out for the companies that I was mentioning earlier. You got to be careful of the ones who manipulate you and patronize you and use that whole incentive card to keep you from leaving. Because you yourself know what you're giving up. You already know that once you leave, you're giving up your health benefits, you're giving up your dental and this, that. You know precisely what you're giving up. They're making you feel guilty. They are manipulating you. They are being patronizing. They are condescending. Don't work at jobs like those. Because otherwise, you're going to be middle-aged, bitter, wondering, what the hell happened to my life? What possessed me to stay here? And you're going to take a look when you go home. You're going to look at the company car. You're going to see the big house. You're going to realize you sold your soul to the devil. So, Astralites, just be cautious. Don't let corporations or relationships define your free will. Don't let them take away your free will. The heavens gave you that. People shouldn't control other people. That's not why we are on this earth. We have purpose on this earth. There are those who choose to serve others. Excuse me. There are those who choose to serve others and those who choose to serve themselves. I choose to serve myself. But right now, for the next 4 weekends, I'm studying on how to serve myself, on how I can be better, on how I can love myself or even like myself. I'm going on a 4-week spiritual journey. And my suggestion to you, Astralites, is you do the same thing. Don't let others define who you are. Don't let corporations guilt you into giving up your free will. It's okay to say no. It's okay to walk out. It's not okay to feel guilty because you have a conscience. You are consciously aware of the problems in your job setting. You don't have to feel guilty about that. Don't like a job? Leave it. It's plain and simple. I said this in my last video. Learn to say no more often, especially if what you're doing is making you miserable. And looks like I'm out of time. So just remember, corporations will never stop being greedy. They're just going to continue to grow and find ways to manipulate us and to keep us around. You have the choice. Your life, your decision. Be safe, be loved, be well. Namaste. I love you all.